So the other night, I was wondering who was going to lose a leg. My husband recently got a deer and he likes to process it himself, and I've never seen that done before. So I was outside helping him. Really, all I did was help him raise the deer up so he could cut and everything. And he was out there for a good while, doing what he could outside, and then it was getting cold and dark. It's been dropping down into the teens. So he brought the meat inside to finish it in our kitchen. Well, he comes inside and he has this blood spot the size of my palm all the way around on his upper thigh. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was part of the deer blood, whatever, because it was all over his pants and his coveralls that he was wearing. So he's like, accidentally stabbed myself. And I was like, what? I was like, and you bled that much and you haven't checked it yet? He's like, no, it just barely went in. And our son looks over, he's like, and you're still alive? And I was like, well, of course he's alive. So he's sitting in the kitchen, doing the meats, packaging them up, labeling them, all of that. I'm in the laundry room and I'm putting laundry from the washer into the dryer. And the next thing I hear is it sounded like a car wreck outside of our house. And I come running into the kitchen, and both the kids are standing over my husband, and he's laying on the floor, and the kitchen chair is broke. Like, part of the chair is back almost in the laundry room. The legs are under the table and in the living room. I'm like, what in the world? Because I thought he was sliding back on our wooden floors and tearing them up. So I was getting ready to come in and yell at him for doing that. And he's just laying on the floor with broken chair pieces everywhere, going, oh, oh. And then I could not help but laugh because I knew he was conscious. I knew he didn't break anything like that. So then the kids start laughing, and they're laying on the ground beside him, rolling around, going, oh, oh. It was the funniest thing I had ever seen. So then he gets done, and I start washing his coveralls and everything. He takes them off and shows me his leg where he poked himself with a knife. And it looks like a little paper cut. And I'm like, how in the world did something like that bleed that much onto your coveralls? It was the craziest thing. But I go outside the next day to go run some errands, and as I'm walking to get into the driver's side of the car, I step on the deer's ear that's just laying there. It's just the ear. And I'm like, oh. And then I look off to the side and I see its carcass laying there. And then I look in a bucket and it has a bunch of legs in it. So I guess he put the legs in a bucket. He recently went up on the hill and dumped all that so we don't get any predator type animals around here. But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, how funny would this be? It'd be very, very cruel, so I would never do this. But I was telling my husband, how funny would it be? Our children wrote Christmas lists that are so long, and they totaled up to almost $2,000 each. And we try to tell them that Santa doesn't bring all that stuff. He only brings one gift per child. And, his sleigh can't hold that much. So I was telling him, I was like, I might keep one of those legs and on Christmas Eve, throw one out in the snow in the yard and get that red food coloring and put it all over. And when they go outside to play in the snow, they ask what happened. I'll be like, oh, Santa's sleigh was too heavy for all the stuff you guys asked for. It broke Rudolph's leg off. They would totally freak out. I would never do that, but I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, so husband stabbed leg, broken legs on a chair, and Rudolph's broken leg, I guess.